Madam Attorney, I should like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to Sir Fenton Ramsahoye, who died on the 27th of December last year at the age of 89. Sir Fenton was justifiably then described in the Caribbean press as a legal luminary, a legal legend, and a great asset to the legal community in the Caribbean. Born in Guyana, he enjoyed a legal career throughout the Caribbean that spanned 59 years. He was called to the Bar of England and Wales by Lincoln's Inn in 1953, but he was also a member of the bars of Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Jamaica, the territories of the Eastern Caribbean, including Montserrat, and the British Virgin Islands. He held the record among attorneys in the English-speaking Caribbean as having made the most appearances before the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. Between 1964 and 2016, he appeared before the board at least 78 times. On many occasions as leading counsel, although he was on one occasion, in the case of Marcus and Lowitz and others, led by Robert Walker, Queen's Counsel, later Lord Walker of Gestingthorpe. He appeared most frequently before us in cases from Trinidad and Tobago, where he lived for many years, and in recent times often leading Anandran Loyan, who later became the country's Attorney General. I well remember, and perhaps Mr. Richards will also remember, the charm and generosity with which he would elegantly open the case for an appellant and then cede the podium to his junior, sometimes to his junior's surprise. They were almost always appearing to champion the constitutional rights of the citizen. Perhaps his most famous case in Trinidad and Tobago was the successful challenge brought by the Sanatan Dharma Mahasabha to the highest award in the Order of Trinity, which was then the Trinity Cross. While admitting that the use of a Christian religious symbol was discriminatory and changing it to the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the state resisted the lawsuit right up to the Privy Council on highly technical grounds. I remember it well. Sir Fenton most recently appeared before the board in 2016 for the respondent in Commissioner of Customs and Delta Petroleum Caribbean Limited, a case from the British Virgin Islands about the lawfulness of the seizure by the Commissioner of the respondent's fuel storage tank and its contents. The Commissioner's appeal was dismissed and the cross-appeal allowed. But Sir Fenton was a man of many parts. He was awarded a BA, an LLB and an LLM from the University of London and was awarded a PhD in comparative land law, where he studied at the London School of Economics and Political Science in 1959. This was published as a textbook on the development of land law in British Guyana in 1966 and is still in use by practitioners there, I am told. But although educated by this country, he was a strong supporter of the development of legal education in the Caribbean and served as the head of the Hugh Wooding Law School from 1972 to 1975. He was also at the forefront of the independence movement in Guyana. In 1961, he was elected a Member of Parliament, and he was the first Attorney General of British Guyana from 1961 to 1964. And he remained a Member of Parliament there until 1973. He did declare himself a supporter of the right of appeal to the Privy Council, at least from the smaller jurisdictions in the Caribbean. But of course, he also appeared many times before the Caribbean Court of Justice. He last appeared there as recently as last year in Hale's and the Director of Public Prosecutions. He will be sorely missed by this board and by all his colleagues and admirers throughout the Caribbean, but above all, of course, by his family and many friends. Our thoughts are with them.
My lady, please you. On behalf of the Jamaica Bar and the bars of the Commonwealth Caribbean, may I express our gratitude for the board's graciousness in taking this time to pay tribute to one who is truly a legal luminary, and all the many other descriptions that your ladyship referred to. I suppose at the end of our life, we all want to be well remembered for making a difference. And I believe Sir Fenton will be well remembered for making the difference. And so, my lady, as we pause to reflect on his life, we at the Jamaica Bar in particular join in expressing our condolence to his immediate and extended family. And we ask that they take comfort in the fact, as I said before, that he will be long remembered through his seminal work across academia, politics, and in the various courtrooms, including before the board, where his contributions have led to the development of the jurisprudence of the Commonwealth Caribbean. And in fact, had we not taken the break when we did, I was going to go on and will do so to refer one of the cases that is in the record here, Cooper, in which he appeared in his contribution. He has undoubtedly indelibly imprinted the path he has traveled on this side of eternity. May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Attorney. Mr. Richards.
My ladies and my lords, on behalf of the Bar of England and Wales, and if I may be permitted to do so, on behalf of the Bar of Trinidad and Tobago, I respectfully endorse what my Lady Hale, and my honourable and learned friend, the Attorney General of Jamaica, had said. Sir Fenton Ramsahoye was the grandfather of constitutional law in the Caribbean. That metaphor is apt, not only for how he helped to shape the constitutions of the newly independent Commonwealth nations, but for the grandparental care with which he mentored and nurtured his juniors. As my Lady Baroness Hale has mentioned, among those juniors was Anand Ramlogan, a future Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, for whom I hold a brief today in the Maharaj matter, and who would dearly have loved to deliver this tribute himself. Together, they fought case after case in the Judicial Committee, changing the Trinbagonian landscape forever in many fields, but particularly in the protection of the fundamental rights of the Hindu community, a community which was especially dear to Fenton's heart and which he considered in particular need of constitutional protection. The recognition of vindicatory damages for breach of constitutional rights, the abolition of the Trinity Cross, the first Hindu radio station in Trinidad, all these things and many more were hard won by Sir Fenton before the board. I too had the great pleasure and privilege of being led by Sir Fenton, albeit in cases of perhaps lesser constitutional importance. He was a demanding leader. As my lady has observed, he recognised and applied the principle that junior counsels should be fully prepared to argue the case. I discovered this on my first appearance before the Judicial Committee, when Sir Fenton gave me half an hour's notice that he intended to open the appeal for some 10 minutes before handing over to me. Of course, Fenton was not in the least bit shy of the argument and would gladly have argued the whole case himself. Rather, having himself been Attorney General of Guyana at the age of 32 and the teacher of countless law students at the Hugh Wooding School in Trinidad, Sir Fenton believed passionately in giving opportunity to youth and that youth should be ready to rise to the occasion. Sir Fenton Ramsahoye's qualities were too great and his career too long and distinguished to be briefly summarised. He was, of course, a fearless champion of the poor, a challenger of the status quo. For all his stellar success, he remained a humble man. He had a kind heart and a wicked sense of humour. My lady and other members of the board will remember how his submissions were statesmanly and magisterial, delivered with gravitas, but also, where the case required, with a twinkle in the eye. The bars of England and of Trinidad owe Sir Fenton Ramsahoye a very great debt of gratitude, and it is a very great honour to have been able to deliver this tribute to him. We will miss him dearly.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Richards. Thank you, Madam Attorney. We will indeed remember him and treasure his memory and miss him very much indeed.